How do you kind of, I guess, juggle it? I know obviously now you're still brokering. I know that now you're working on NETTRAKK, and we'll get into, of course, what that is. But how do you kind of juggle everything, and how do you work with competing priorities? Like, do you have certain rules, or is it just kind of, by intuition? What's kind of your operational procedure that way?
Well, I guess you would know from the mortgage industry that some of the deals that come across our desk are mission critical and incredibly
Yeah.
time sensitive, especially on
Right.
purchases. And for me, I'm a bit of a machine. So the big thing for me is in juggling it all, honestly, is you have to determine what is mission critical first and what is not.
Mm,
For me, it's starting with those mission critical things that cannot wait and then filling in the spaces with all the other things and checking them off. Everything for me gets completed for sure. It's just that you have to learn what to prioritize and what is a priority before you can kind of get going onto some of the other things that maybe aren't as time sensitive, but still important and need to get done.
yeah, right. Yeah. Do you ever find that it's like, I hear this from some clients where, you know, kind of the file and what's needed, but the client, or maybe it's the realtor on the file, they think it's mission critical. They're like, "Hey, I need this. I need it ASAP." And you're like, "No, no, no. Actually, it's okay." Is that a situation you run into, and how do you deal with that? Like, I mean, I guess it's kind of like a stakeholder management question, right? But
It is.
yeah,
For one thing, realtors always feel things are mission critical because,
yeah,
that's how they make their
everything's
money.
yesterday.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely,
yeah, yeah,
as do
yeah,
we. Especially when it comes to first-time home buyers, I feel there's a lot of hand-holding. It's just making them feel comfortable. And one thing is to set a realistic expectation on the time frame of how long things can take, because people think as soon as they speak to you, they're gonna be receiving that commitment from the lender, and sometimes those commitments, can take up to 24 or more hours to come back. And even on, condition approval, sometimes people are thinking, oh, if I get that document sent in to Wendy right away, I should have my answer within hours. You just have to coach them and let them know it doesn't work like that. And setting that realistic expectation can really help them with any anxieties that they have, because obviously there's a lot riding on it at the end of the day for them, because they really want to get into their new home, or they need that refinance to help them consolidate debt, etc.
yeah. It's one of those old things, right, where they say all unhappiness is basically the difference between your expectations and reality, right? It's
Yeah.
not so much, the objective thing. The other way I hear it sometimes is, the richest man or woman is not the person who has the most, but needs the least, right?
Yeah.
It's something like that, right? So if you
Oh,
can
wow, I
help
like
set that
that. I've never heard that before. Yeah.
okay, sure. But right, I mean, it's, I think, a little bit the same point where it's, people can have everything, they can have, the approval come across and all that. But if they feel that they need something more, they need a quicker turnaround, they need that, then they're still going to feel that they're at a loss. Whereas, setting those expectations,
Well,
really
and
help with that.
sometimes I've come
Yeah.
across situations where I've had to get something spun around really quickly. You get to know who your lender partners are, and when you have a really good relationship with them, they will go to bat for you in getting some of your
Right.
files turned around. I had one lender partner that I was dealing with that I had a mission critical file that was falling through at the last minute, and he got it cleaned up for me within an hour. So
Hmm.
you do have
Wow.
those relationships that you build over time with your lender partners that you can't put a price on those.
Yeah, no, that's so interesting, right? And I think it's actually something that I didn't realize when I kind of came into the industry, which was about 5 years ago, which is still how much of a people business as it is, right? Where, I come in, maybe we're in the tech hat thinking that you can automate this or that or the other thing. And a lender interaction is just another, cog in the wheel that you can maybe automate or do different things with. And yes, there's always place for automations, but at the end of the day, I think that, the human element, whether it is with your clients or your realtors or your lender partners, like when I look at the most successful mortgage brokers, that's what they're very good at, right? And I don't know if you find that, in your day to day or the people you work with. It's interesting to see that, because I guess bringing it back to tech too, we're constantly being bombarded with, AI this, AI that. But, that example that you gave just now is like, AI is not going to replace that. Like,
No,
how is it
no,
going to do that, right?
no.
Yeah.
Sometimes when I'm working with AI, I have to say, "Make this sound more like a human."
Yeah, right. Yeah, I know. Yeah. I don't want the person receiving it to know I just opened up
Yeah,
ChatGPT and
exactly, exactly.
yeah.